I wasn't supposed to be here again. One trek to Everest Base Camp is already a meaningful experience. But somehow, I found myself walking the same trail twice in a single month. Most people thought it was unnecessary, maybe even risky. But I had a reason to help lead 2 teams of hikers, supported by an incredible crew of local guides and porters, to reach Everest Base Camp. It would mean nearly a month at high altitude, facing unpredictable weather and the constant risk of getting sick. But I still believe that staying this long in the Himalayas, experiencing the same journey with different people, under different skies, and in a different state of mind will change how I see the mountains and the journey itself. This is a story of what it feels like to trek to Everest Base Camp twice through the eyes of my lens and the guides who live every step of it. One of the fastest ways to start the Everest Base Camp trek is by flying from Kathmandu to Lukla. Normally, to complete the Everest Base Camp trek will take about 12 days and covers 130 kilometers. Since we are going to do it twice, I believe you know the math. And on the first day, we'll take a 30 minutes flight to our starting point. If you are able to sit at the left side of the plane, you can see the view of the Himalaya mountain range, and a short while after that, we touch down on what's known as the most dangerous airport in the world. And honestly, that landing felt more like a roller coaster than a plane ride. Lukla is a peaceful little town tucked into the mountains. It's a mix of trekking convenience and the charm of a local lifestyle. After a short rest, our first team was ready to start the hike, and I'll be going through this entire journey with 2 guides, Ramesh on the right and Chhiring sitting on the left. These 2 will become the most important people in my 1-month life in the mountains. Even as we just started the trek, the trail was already busy with moose and zos carrying a lot of supplies. Today's route was mostly trekking through the villages, so you could see a lot of local kids just hanging around in the corners, some curious on the hikers like us, and some just minding their own business. Today's hike was gentle, about 3 to 4 hours downhill to a village called Phakding, which is actually sits lower than Lukla, so we should be able to reach there before our lunchtime. Along the trail, we passed by a lot of local shrines and spinning money wheels. I'm not the most religious person, but since I've been in this mountain for nearly a month, I will spin every one of them with humble intentions. It's only the first day of our hike. We could already spot a lot of stupas and stones with the mantra scriptures, which is a big part of the Sherpa culture and their spirituality. late afternoon, we arrived at our first tea house in Phakding. We'll be staying here for tonight. After settling down and with some time to spare, it's nice to just wander around the village, just soaking in the slow pace, nice air, and the simple beauty of this mountain life. Here goes our first day of the hike, which is from Lukla to Phakding. It's only 8 kilometers hike. It will only take us about 3 hours. The whole trek will pass by some shrines, some villages, because I personally like to capture some landscape and also portraits. And then I really recommend, really slow down your pace and then just enjoy the village lifestyle, something like that. Before heading to Namche Bazaar, we did a little warm-up, just some light stretching to get our bodies going. The trek from Phakding to Namche Bazaar is 5 to 7 hour hike covering around 10 kilometers. It's considered a quite popular route for the Everest Base Camp trek. Thanks to the peak season, the trail was pretty happening, packed with a lot of hikers and the usual traffic of moos and zoos. Sometimes it even gets very dusty. So far, the first half of the trek was fairly easy with shaded forest trails that made for a really comfortable hike. Since it was the spring season, we even spotted a few blooming sakura trees, which honestly caught us by surprise out here in the Himalayas. A little further in, we reached the entrance of the Sagarmatha National Park. This is one of the main checkpoints where they go through your permits and those paperworks. Today's trail also includes crossing several suspension bridges, including the famous Hillary Bridge, the one that featured in the movie Everest, which made it kinda iconic. But once you spotted the Hillary Bridge, the hike actually gets more serious and steeper from here. Another surprise of the day was encountering a masked deer, which is quite rare to see around this region because of their shy nature and facing high risk of extinction. Finally, we reached Namche Bazaar in a light drizzle, and thankfully it wasn't too heavy rain. And to be honest, the bazaar is way much more developed than I imagined. Currently at Namche Bazaar, the altitude is 3,400 meters. Last night I didn't think much of the Namche Bazaar because it was raining and it was pretty dark. But I did go to the town though to buy some medicine from pharmacy because of my ulcer. It pretty much have everything covered here. You can pretty much buy anything. They have even ATM, Starbucks or whatever. You can also buy a lot of gears from here. But then the price here is like triple from Kathmandu. Currently, we are preparing for our later acclimatization hike. It will take around maybe 3 to 4 hours hike to the Everest viewpoint, and it's around a 5 kilometer hike as well. So it's just a day, a very chill hike for us to get used to the high altitude. And then later when we go to the Everest viewpoint, hopefully we can see much more peaks in the good weather. The weather is very clear, maybe we can see a little bit of the Everest. It's almost about time now. I will go in to have my breakfast and then later prepare for our climb. The weather turned very cloudy not long after we started our acclimatization hike, so there wasn't much of a view actually. But the point of this hike is not just about sightseeing, it's about climbing high and then we sleep low, so to help our bodies adjust to the higher altitude in the coming days. After almost 2 hours of hiking, we reached the Sagarmatha next checkpoint, which is quite a cool spot actually. They have a VR experience of climbing Mount Everest and an art gallery and also a cafe inside. Sagarmatha next is all about to promote sustainability in the Khumbu region. They even collect and recycle a lot of trash from the mountains and turn some of it into beautiful artworks. Unfortunately, due to the weather, we had to skip the Everest viewpoint and then head back down early to Namche Bazaar. When the clouds finally clear up in the evening, as usual I wander around town just to experience the mountain life, and turns out volleyball is a pretty big deal here in Namche Bazaar. What I really enjoy the most is capturing the local lifestyle. Like these kids, they don't really care about the camera, they just play and be themselves. Everything is so natural, like they are the best kind of the actors you didn't hire. During our free time, Ramesh brought me to a little restaurant that's famous for its momos. It's a dumpling with buffalo meats that is very popular with the locals. It was hands down one of the best momos I've ever had, and I'm definitely coming back for more. To wrap up the day, I went up to a higher spot to watch the sunset. Watching the sunset view of Thamsekru and Kusum Kangru is definitely the highlight of Namche. Totally worth the effort. Hello, namaste. Very nice to meet you. So just now we walk around Namche Bazaar. There's a lot of tourists, there's a lot of trekkers coming in. Namche Bazaar is probably most happening village I've seen throughout trekking in Nepal. So this is definitely quite an eye-opener for me. Today we are heading toward our next stop, Pangboche. Estimate 6 to 7 hours hike to cover around 13 kilometers. Today's trek was mostly quite open, with very little shades, but you can start to spot some snow mountains and also the trails far ahead with stupas. They kinda becomes checkpoint for the hikers. Not long after we left Namche, we got our first sight of the big ones, Amadabram, Lose, and a little bit of Everest just behind Napse. Along the trail, if you are lucky enough, you might spot some of the wild mountain goats on the side of the cliffs. Seeing this makes you always wonder, how do they always end up there? Before reaching Pangboche, every hikers will have to go up to a steep hill to pass by Tengboche. While hiking in the dense forest, we know that we are not far from the checkpoint. Dingboche Monastery is the largest monastery in the Khumbu region. Hikers are allowed to go inside to visit with an entrance fee, and outside the monastery is just a peaceful place for you to just rest for a while. The cloudy weather is a clear sign we had to keep moving, so we push on, hoping to reach Pangboche before the weather turns bad. The good thing is, we reach Pangboche before it starts snowing. Waking up early in Pangboche just to see the morning view is one of the best decisions made throughout the journey. The view just kinda makes you forget all the fatigue from the past few days. Thanks to the light snowfall from yesterday, the landscape feels even much more mesmerizing. But there's one peak that instantly draws my attention, it's no doubt Amadablam. The name of the mountain means Mother's Necklace in the Sherpa language. It's not the tallest peak around here, but definitely one of the most striking ones. Before heading off to Dingboche, I had to stop by a sacred place, said to be the oldest Buddhist monastery in the entire Khumbu region. Pangboche Gompa, a place full of legends including stories of the Lama Shangwa Dorje and even the Yeti legends. A perfect place to offer a quiet prayer and hoping for a safe journey as we continue deeper into the mountains. While hiking today, we are pretty lucky because the peak of Namche, Lose, Amadabram, even the view of Everest was visible most of the time. These mountains may be miles away, but they all feel so close at the same time. Today's trek is just around 7 kilometers with 6 to 7 hours of hiking. And there's one thing for sure is, the view just keep on getting better. After about 7 hours of trekking, we finally arrived at our destination in Dingboche. Even seeing with my own eyes, it's still hard to believe the scale of this village exists over 4,000 meters high in the mountains. Just imagine the time and the effort it all took to build everything here. It's pretty incredible. So currently at Dingboche, our elevation is 4,400 meters. It's actually my first time being so high. So tomorrow we'll have our acclimatization hike and then we'll stay one more night in Dingboche. So the acclimatization hike is around 400 meters to 500 meters elevation gain. It could be a 4 to 5 hours hike. So I'm pretty hyped about it. and hopefully me and everyone of us can able to make it for tomorrow's acclimatization hike. And after that, we're moving forward to the much more higher point, which is the Gorak Shep, and also of course the Everest Base Camp. It gets very windy during the evening, although Ramesh told us not to go outside at this time, but I couldn't help myself to explore around, which led me to this beautiful spot. What a nice place just to breathe and be present. Our first acclimatization hike back in Namche feels like it just happened, and today we are heading for our second one in Nagarjuna Hill. This acclimatization is much more important since we are above 4,000 meters. Our benchmark is to at least gain 300 meters elevation. If we can keep on going, we'll try to reach to the top of the Nagarjuna Hill. And honestly, once you are above 4,000 meters, you can really start to feel the difference. Your body feels heavier, every breath feels shorter, and somehow never satisfied. It's like your body and your mind are constantly in a quiet battle. So this moment I realized that altitude doesn't care who you are and how strong you think you are. Up here it's not about pushing hard, it's about going slow, drinking enough water, getting rest. The ones who make it through aren't always the strongest, but the ones who learn to adapt. So yesterday we had our acclimatization hike. It was a pretty tough hike actually, to the top of the Nagarjuna Hill, a 700 meters elevation gain, and we took us around 5 hours to complete it, go to the top and then return back down here. It was quite steep, but I think it was a very good acclimatization hike for our itinerary today. From here to Lobuche will be around also close to 10 kilometers, so it will take us around maybe 8 hours. So last night they have quite a light snowfall, as you can see. So we are greeted by this very beautiful morning scenery. As we left Dingboche, I'm quietly hoping I get to see the white stupa again when I return for my second trip. Until then, see you again someday. Not long after hiking up to the ridge as the landscape opened up, and honestly, this became one of my favorite views of the entire journey. Because every direction you turn there's something to take in. It's the kind of place where no amount of time ever feels enough to stay here. The distance today to Lobuche will be 8 kilometers. This should take us around 5 to 6 hours to complete it. And thanks to the acclimatization from yesterday, so far the hike was pretty smooth. Windy weather is always unpredictable. One moment is very sunny and clear, and then the next, it's very hard to see what's in front of you. We can only go forward and hope that this weather doesn't last long. Climbing Mount Everest is the ultimate dream for a lot of climbers, but a lot of them lose their lives doing so. So we then pass by a memorial built by the Sherpas for all the climbers who lost their lives chasing the dream of summiting Everest. At this point, I feel like the memorial is also a reminder that the mountains are very beautiful, yes, but they also demand a very deep respect. At this part of the trail, the most prominent peak is no doubt Mount Pumori. The shape of the mountain is very recognizable, and some climbers even refer the mountain as the daughter of Everest. Reaching Lobuche meant we had officially crossed the 5,000 meter mark. For most of us, it was a personal record of a higher elevation, and also a new challenge we have never faced before. Alright, a very wonderful morning in Lobuche over here. Currently we are at the 5,050 meters high elevation. It's actually my first time overnight in such a high elevation. I can tell you the experience is not entirely very pleasant because last night I having some trouble sleeping. I think I woke up around 1 hour at a time. But then overall right now I'm feeling okay. Just a little bit of headache. Hopefully later the breakfast and so on can help me to recover from it. So later we'll go to Gorak Shep, and then after that we will move to our final destination, which is the Everest Base Camp. The plan for today was pretty simple. We hike to Gorak Shep, have our lunch over there, and then continue to Everest Base Camp. And after that, we head back to Gorak Shep and stay for the night. The total distance should be around 30 kilometers and about 10 hours of hiking. No doubt one of the toughest days throughout the trip, considering the altitude. Things got a bit tougher after Gorak Shep, so we are trekking across actual glaciers, and some of the sections were actually quite icy and slippery. This part of the trail is easily one of the busiest. You can see a lot of Zos, yaks, and hikers all moving in the same direction with the same purpose, to stand at the foot of the world's highest mountain. And hiking above 5,000 meters is a whole another level than hiking on 4,000 meters. Avalanches were pretty common here. Just by listening to its rumbling, you can feel how hostile this environment can be. Everest Base Camp is just what I imagine. The rows of colorful tents scattered across the rocks, and the hikers lining up to take that iconic photo with the rock. But what really stood out to me the most was the ice glacier. It was massive, it was surreal, and felt almost alive. I've never seen anything like it before. To me, the ice glacier made the whole journey feel real. So cold right now, I think it's -10. And then last night we stayed here one night in Gorak Shep. Unfortunately,
also didn't sleep well. My oxygen level is a bit low, but luckily today we are descending back down, and then everyone make it to the Everest Base Camp, which is I'm really happy about it. Although the trail from here to Everest Base Camp is not considered tough, but hiking at this 5,000 meters elevation is really physical demanding. And then without enough sleep, it does very funny things to your body. You can't really hike and walk well like what you used to. So a lot of times it's on the mentality.
One of the most common sights along the Everest Base Camp track is the constant sound of the helicopters flying above. On this trip, we even had to call in few emergency helicopters to send some of our members back to Lukla. That is when Chhiring stepped in and showed off some of his marshalling skills, and turns out he used to work with a helicopter rescue team before. It was very impressive to see him in action. In the middle of the mountains, he just seemed completely in his own element. The journey back from Gorak Shep to Lukla will take us about 3 days and 2 nights. We'll pass through Lobuche again, then take a different trail down through Pangboche, and after that we go back the same route we used to come up. Descending back down to Lukla safely with everyone made it to the Everest Base Camp was such a huge relief to me. And to most hikers, this would be the end of the journey, but for me, Ramesh, Chhiring, we are only halfway there. After sending off the first group, Ramesh returned to Kathmandu with them, while I stayed behind in Lukla with Chhiring. Chhiring actually grew up here, so he knows every corner of this town. And before we explore around town, the first thing we did was to grab some fresh momos. There's no better way to start, to be honest.
It's better than Namche? Which one is better? Namche?
Namche is slightly better, but this is also good.
Yeah.
Namche, wow. I think we go there, we eat again.
Okay, sure. Namche Bazaar. You know, last time I got sick at Gorak Shep. You know? Yeah.
I know.
I'm feeling dizziness, headache, little bit vomiting. And also there's no proper rest at Lobuche. We just sleeping it tiny under the table, you know, last night in Lobuche. Due to the peak season, so many people, all the hotel are packed, so it's okay, but it's okay. I'm good now.
I mean Gorak Shep, where porters sleep.
At Porter House.
Porter House, you mean like outside?
No.
I saw some sleep in the tent.
Last night I also sleep in the tent, so that's why I got sick. And Ramesh managed me to eat tiny to sleep.
You guys cannot sleep inside the tea house?
No, not allowed.
Tent is so cold, man.
Yeah, not so cold, very cold.
I'm not going to lie, I'm quite ashamed of myself of not knowing they go through such conditions in the mountains.
Porter life is very difficult, very hardworking, very challenging. I also did Porter, ate 25 to 30 kg. I also carry 45.
Whoa, you can
last
carry.
season, yeah.
You're strong. strong, man.
After the first trip, me, Ramesh and of course Chhiring, we all got quite close together. The more I got to know him, the more I respect the strength of the guides and porters. And later on, Chhiring invited me to his aunt's house. It was a pretty simple home, small, humble, and full of warmth. They served black tea and we sat together watching some old Nepali movies. Moments like this actually remind me sometimes it's the simplest things that stays with you the longest. For most of us, trekking to Everest Base Camp is once in a lifetime dream, but for them it's like everyday life, a life that not just physically demanding, but requires even much more mental toughness. Seeing Lukla through Chhiring's eyes, as his home, his childhood, and the story behind it, I can see how much this place meant to him. It was a side of Lukla that I'll never forget. The next day, we started the second trip with 11 new members, and honestly, I was more nervous than the first time, but knowing Ramesh and Chhiring by my side, I felt ready to do this again. Walking the same trail again, seeing both familiar and new faces along the way, and spotting subtle change of the landscape, feels like a strange sense of déjà vu, but this is also the reason the whole experience still feels fresh like the first time.
Alright, we are now back in Phakding from Lukla, so going to lead the second tour of the EBC trip, and today's a very good day to just rest, chill and relax and to recover from the first EBC trip. And I got a little bit of the flu and some coughing, so I hopefully it will get better soon for the rest of the day.
Since this was our second trip, Ramesh and I had already worked together for quite a while now, but we never really had a chance to sit down and talk. So this time, I finally got to ask him about his first Everest Base Camp experience.
In my first trip, I was crying. I work as a porter. Some of the porter of our group got mountain sickness. We have to carry like extra luggage, extra duffel bag of our remaining porter. I was the smallest one in the group, and luckily two of my senior brothers, they told me we were very small. We tried to carry heavy one. You can carry small. Like it was like more than 35 kilo. Even I carry small one, it was more than 35 kilo. And I feel like I'm not going to do this job. It's not easy. It could took my life. Then after taking quite rest and getting no, I should go mountain. I started to miss mountain. Well, now I can proudly say, EBC, I built the EBC from Jan to December every month.
Yeah, almost every month.
I see EBC in every month, the real nature of EBC.
I really can't imagine how you do that, bro. It's really tough, man. After talking with Ramesh, I could really feel his passion for the mountains. Sometimes he felt like he cared about the mountains and his team more than himself. Maybe all he wants is for us to see the mountains the way he sees them.
And unfortunately last night, due to some of us conditions are not so good, so we have decided to stay one more night here in Pangboche. Talking about body conditions, me myself, I'm not doing so good actually. I've been coughing quite heavily these few days, so I ate a lot of medicines. I ate antibiotics, dry coughing medicine, and also some steroids. I'm also drinking the cough syrups. So these are the things I'm taking. I hope this doesn't get any worse when I go up much more higher, and I hope everyone can make it as well. Yeah, hopefully.
This time in Pangboche, the snow was much more heavier, thicker than before. It felt like a complete different place, a whole new experience compared to the first time. And based on the weather, we had a feeling this might be what the next few days would look like. I'm really glad we took a rest day in Pangboche. A good night's sleep really helped my body to recover, and some of our members are finally starting to adapt to the altitude as well. Since we are now a day behind our original plan, we will need to make sure everyone gets proper acclimatization once we reach Dingboche later on. In Dingboche, I went back to the same spot I visited before. There's something about this place which I can find some real peace. Maybe it's because it also feels like a quiet rest stop before the real challenge begins. Yesterday, I skipped the hike to Nagarjuna Hill since I was acclimatized before, and also I want to save some energy for the upcoming days. It is very cloudy today, and the sky was quite calm in a strange way, but we can foresee it will start snowing sooner or later. The hike from Tengboche to Lobuche is just like what we expected. It started snowing by afternoon, but thankfully the weather wasn't too harsh on us. If the wind had picked up even more, it could have turned into a full-on blizzard. And then there's Chhiring just being himself. Even in the gloomy weathers, he somehow finds a way to lighten the mood. I felt really lucky with moments like this to keep our spirits up, and the hike just feels much more doable with him around. Not really a good start today. We can't see any views of the peak. Even the peak of Mount Pumori was hiding behind the clouds. But on the bright side, there was almost no wind. It turned out to be a calm and peaceful day to hike to Everest Base Camp. The final push to Everest Base Camp finally happens, and just like clockwork, it's snowing again. This time, every hiker's pace and even the yaks and horse seems to slow down much more compared to the first trip. And I'm really glad that I brought my umbrella with me. It might look kinda stupid, but for this case, it's the best way to keep myself dry from the snow. For some reason, trekking towards the base camp feels very different this time. Of course, obviously, it is because of the heavier snow, or maybe because we've gone through more, especially more fatigue and more silence between steps. But after reaching the base camp again, I can tell this time felt deeper, much more personal, especially for me, Ramesh, Chhiring, and about everything it took to get here. On the way back to Gorak Shep, the skies began to clear up. It's actually the first time we were able to see the mountain peaks and Everest for today, as if the mountains knew that the hardest part of our journey was finally done. I feel really grateful and lucky for you as my guide, really. I really cannot do it both trips, even one EBC trip without you guys. Yeah.
It's all about with ours harder, not only us, because of you also. Yeah. I thought if people or you or me, if we didn't believe on ourselves, definitely cannot do it. Definitely, we see people helping us, but at first, we did because of ourselves, because we didn't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. While hiking down, we decided to carry some trash for Sakamata next. It's a small gesture to give back to the mountains. And throughout the descent, I keep thinking about the conversations I had with the guides. I realized the true reward of this journey wasn't just about reaching Everest Base Camp. It was about what we carried back with us and what we gave along the way.